Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it is that time again. It is time for us to talk about all the books that we read this week with 1-minute synopses for each book. So let's get started. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway, and we have a lot of really fun things planned. We're right there between that 750 and 1,000, so there's going to be some pretty big announcements and fun things coming, so you want to make sure that you're a part of that. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, and all of that will be linked down below. All right, so how was your reading week, Mandy?
My reading week was good. I got 9 books in, but I feel like I had a 5-star read. I'm just glancing, and everything else was a 4-star, and I had 1 3-star.
Okay, I read 9 books this week too, and everything was. I have 1 5-star, and I had a couple of 3-stars. I had some real big duds. So we'll talk about those.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about your dud books.
Oh, I got one for you.
All right.
And I'm going to be holding you to a promise you made for this one. I don't know that you can handle it, though.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready. Okay, so the first book that I have for you guys for this week is Wilted, Orchid, and this is by Loxley Savage. This is the 4th book in the Mafia Wars. Yeah, it's the 4th book in the Mafia Wars series, and this one was 3 stars for me. It just it fell short. So this is about Val, who is the daughter of the head of the Cosa Nostra, and she is given in marriage to the guy who's going to be the head of the Familia. So she goes from like New York to Chicago, and so or vice versa. I can't remember. Anyhow, she's given to him and his 2 brothers. Well, here's the deal. So Salvatore is the head of the mafia that she's been given to. 6 months prior to her being given in marriage to these guys, or to this guy, which his brothers then claim her, her dad murders Salvatore's girlfriend. So he hates her immediately. And he does a lot of cruel things to her. He says a lot of cruel things to her. His brothers are twins. He gives her to his brothers. She's a virgin. She's okay with that. Then there is no groveling. And it's like the guy flips a switch and is like, I can get over it now. It's not your fault. I talked to a priest and I feel good. And she's like, okay, jump in my bed. Anyhow, I gave it 3 stars. I did enjoy some of it, but this one just really, it needed more. It obviously needed more. So,
all right.
But I am going to continue on. There's 2 more books left. I'm a little hesitant because the last 2 authors are not authors that are my favorites, but we're gonna try them anyway. We're giving them the benefit of the doubt, and we're going.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so tell me about yours.
Oh, I did not mean to switch over so quickly. I don't know how that happens.
Well, it's
all right. So my first read of the week was Flirt by Adriana Locke. This is part of the Carmichael series. I've been reading this series out of order, and now I'm trying to go back and finish up where I need to. Am I supposed to hold the book the whole time? I don't know.
Yes, you are. You hold that book.
Okay, so this is about Moss and Brooke. Brooke has a horrible mom who is constantly belittling her and all up in her business that she is single. Brooke is happy being single, but her mom is not happy that she's single. And Brooke is looking to go back home to her grandma's birthday party, and she just really doesn't want to face the family drama or her mom. So she jokingly makes a social media post basically saying like, hey, let's have a situationship where I'll be your fake girlfriend when you need me to, and you be my fake boyfriend when I need you to. And she doesn't mean to post it, but it accidentally gets posted. She is mortified. And this eventually leads her and her coworker, Moss, who this is a friends to lovers, but this is a friends to lovers I can get behind because they're coworkers, they're flirty with each other, but they don't want to go past that because they're coworkers and they get along really well. This I understand. Like why would we want to do that when we work together? I don't want to. She is working for his family, so she doesn't want to lose her job if things go south, that sort of thing. They're both non-committal people, and now they're going to be in this situationship. So
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed this one.
Okay.
The series so far has been great, but again,
So,
I'm read a little out of order.
I might have missed it, but how many stars did you give that one?
I don't know if I said.
Oh, I don't know that
It's
you did.
4 stars. It is a solid 4-star read.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is not the one that you're gonna be laughing at. But I'm gonna tell you about
laugh
this.
at the books you read?
Okay, that never
That's
happens.
insulting, Jessica.
No, this one's actually good. Okay, so the next book that I read is by Kate C. Wells. This is His Curvy Rejected Mate. This is number 4 in her 5-pack series, and I've really enjoyed this series. But I realized that I missed this one. The audio was out, and I hadn't listened to it. And I'm like, I'm gonna wrap Christmas presents and listen to this book. So this one is about Flora and Alec. So Flora is a part of the pack. She has been treated horribly by the pack because she's curvier, and they didn't write her making her sound like she was really, really big. She just sounds like she's got a butt and she's got boobs. So, yay, because I don't have a butt. So that's awesome for her. But anyhow, her whole life she's been treated poorly because shifters aren't supposed to be overweight. And so she's when she was in high school, she and Alec kind of had a thing, and they still have a thing where they sneak off and she'll give him a BJ or whatever, and then they've never had full sex, but they've had oral. And she's kind of like his dirty secret. And then one day she realizes that he is her mate. Like, she goes into her little heat situation and he's her mate immediately, and he rejects her. Like, that is the theme for all these books. And then he has to grovel quite a bit. So I love this one because it was 4 stars, was solid 4 stars. I kind of wanted a little bit more groveling, but that's okay. He did a pretty good job of groveling. This one was a little hard though for somebody who's battled weight, because it brought back all of these horrible high school feelings where I was like, ew. So that was a little rough to get through, but it was still good. It's good when an author can invoke those feelings. It's just, crappy. So I ate a cookie or two, and then I continued.
I would love to have the body I had in high school.
I know, and I was treated like crap for the body that I did have. And I go back and look at pictures now, and I'm like, I wasn't big, but I was treated like I was, disgusting or something. I don't know. It was kids are cruel. Kids are cruel. It also didn't help that we went to school with the same kids we've known our whole lives. It was a small town. They did me a favor because I didn't want to date anybody in that school. But there are some scars. Don't you dare. Don't. No, don't. No. And we are not bringing up crushes, because then I will bring up boyfriends. The dating pool wasn't very big. A rebellious phase, is that what it was? The dating pool wasn't very deep there. There weren't a lot of options. You really had to look at personality.
I blame my dad.
And then you still get rejected. What?
I blame my dad.
I blame your dad too. He was my problem too.
My dad was a good father.
Yes.
Up until like the last part of my senior year of high school. I think he had a midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when Mandy had her crisis, I had to help her by contributing. So.
You were in crisis when I met you.
You didn't help though, did ya? Just made it worse. I never had a crisis. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was nobody I wanted to date. That's not how I remember high school.
You know what? We don't talk about that. I never did date him.
No,
And
you
he's
wanted
essentially dropped off the face of the earth, so it's all good.
I don't even know what to say.
Just
Anyway,
tell me about your next book.
I would love to.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next book is an Audible short called Rock Hard by LJ Shin. So this is super quick. Like it is a very, very quick read or listen. So know that going in. I rated it based on that. After I rated it, I saw that it had low reviews and I'm like, I wonder what's people's hang up with it was. And it seemed that most people were rating it low because there wasn't a lot of development and it's like very insta, but it's super short, so I'm not sure what people were expecting. Like that's where I feel that you have to adjust your rating based on what it is that you're reading. So this is about Hannah and Fabio. Fabio is like this famous, I think he was an actor or something.
He's
He's
a
famous.
singer, I thought. He was a
Is
rock
he
star.
oh yeah, he's a singer.
Yeah.
Sorry. But they don't really talk about it because again, it's super quick. So she is working at this hotel on Christmas because her son, she has a son, so she's a single mom, and she's trying really hard to provide for them. And she gets called up to his hotel room to deliver this like special order. Fabio's kind of a jerk. And then very like that things happen between the two of them. And we basically like propel the story forward and end it extremely quickly. But again, it's a quick, fun listen. So I rated it 4 stars for how just a quick, fun listen. But like if you're looking for some deep connecting listen, this would not be it. I don't even think it's in a book form. I think it's just an Audible short,
I
isn't it?
think so. And I listened to it when we were camping this last summer for whatever reason, knowing that eventually we were going to have to talk about holiday reads. And I remember because of how quick we listen to books, or, you know, the speed that you and I both have for our books, it was over in a matter of minutes. Like minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's it. Okay. So, but I mean, for what it was, yeah. It was good. Yeah.
It's very quick and dirty.
Very quick and dirty. Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I read Tears of Betrayal by Michelle Hurd. I don't even know where this is in her series. Just several mafia series. So this is a mafia romance. You can read them out of order. They're all standalones. They're interconnected standalones. But this is about Dimitri, who is 31, and Ariana, who is 23. So this is an age gap romance. And not a huge age gap, but there is an age gap there. So Ariana is the illegitimate daughter to the head of the Bratva. And there has been a hit put out on her life. Her father is dying, and her stepbrother or her half brother is about to take over. And so there's been a hit put out on her life. And Dimitri and the guy that he works for, they take these hits and they see them out, right? They take the money and they go do them, but they will not harm a woman and a child. And they are also a part of the Bratva. And so they see this, and Dimitri's boss says, "Go get her, take her to my private island." Well, I mean, instead of like going and getting her, she lives in, I think, Seattle. He kidnaps her, rolls her up in a rug, throws her in the trunk, and then flies her to this private island where she's pretty much his captive without being his captive. And she's like, what is going on? Like, she thinks she's being kidnapped. Like, it's finally happening, you know? She's been able to hide for so long. But this is their story. So this actually would work for your mafia romance for a readathon, but it also works for your stranded because, or your stranded snowed in one, because she is stranded on a private island with Dimitri. So, so there you go.
Yes. My next one would work for Captor.
Yay, Captor Captive!
Readathon.
This also goes for Captor Captive too, because she is his captive until she starts boinking him. But okay.
Okay.
What about yours?
Oh, if they start blinking, they're no longer captive.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, because this girl, she gets told what's going on, and so then she doesn't necessarily 100% believe them, but yeah. No.
All right.
Okay.
So my next book is called The Bad Guy by Celia Aaron. This is about Sebastian and Camille. And Sebastian, first off, we just need to know he does not read emotions well. So, and this is something his dad has tried to teach him how to read emotions since he was little. So just know that. And Sebastian is a very, very wealthy man. And so he meets Camille. Camille has a boyfriend, but she is not really clicking and invested in him, but she feels like he's who she should want to be with. So that's why she's with him more. So, anyways, she meets Sebastian because her boyfriend works for Sebastian. He's kind of like higher up though with that situation. And Sebastian meets her and he's immediately drawn to her. So he wants her. So he takes her. He gives her everything while he holds her captive, and she is still not happy. Why? Why? Like,
The
I didn't
nerve.
understand this. The
I don't
chick
get-
is into like botany, so he has greenhouses and plants for her. Like, he loves her.
Is this the one where he
Spoils
tells her that
and
she's
she
won a
complains.
scholarship or something, and then he takes her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like
he tricks her.
Mhm.
Like, I thought he was just going to like join her in the Amazon and
No.
convince her. No, he sets up this thing where she's going to go on this research trip to the Amazon over winter break. And he picks her up in the limo. And
Yeah.
instead of taking her to the Amazon, he takes her to a secluded home and keeps her captive.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she was confused.
I don't get it either. I did you get it on 4 stars?
I did give it a solid 4-star. It
Yeah.
would probably even be a little bit closer to 5, but it just wasn't quite a 5-star read for me.
Yeah.
And that's probably more of a mood thing for me. But
Mm,
it was solid 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. I actually felt bad for him because he really just wanted this relationship to
he
work.
did. He really did. I think I gave it 4 stars as well. And I'd read it after I've read other Celia Aaron books, and I think that's where her writing has gotten stronger over the years, and this was, I think, earlier than the other ones that I'd read of hers, and so it was good. It was solid 4, loved it. But her other ones, I just knew that she could do just a little bit more, I think, and that's why I was like, I loved the other ones. Just they were 5s. This one was the 4, but it's still worth reading. I still think about it because the minute you start talking about it, it's like,
Yeah.
this is the one where he takes her. She's a botanist. So
Yes.
yeah, pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about my next one before we talk about my next one. So I've noticed in Audible.
Is this where I'm not supposed to laugh?
I mean, you can in a minute, but
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, I do get to laugh? I wasn't
you
sure.
can. I'm not going to hold you to it because I know you're not going to be able to handle it. So I've noticed, like, over the last 2 weeks, when I go to look to see what the new releases are in Audible, that there's a lot of virtual voice. And you can tell these ones are different because instead of having the square picture of the book, it is like the longer, the rectangle size picture. And it says virtual voice. And I was like, what is that? So I saw one that was free. And I don't know if it's free still, but it was free. And so I started listening to it because I was like, I want to know, what are they talking about? I mean, I should have known. Like, it clicked the minute it started what virtual voice was. But obviously I was wrapping Christmas presents and I was having a moment where I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. So virtual voice is just that, a virtual voice. So instead of using an audiobook narrator and paying a person, they're using AI to do this.
Yeah.
And
it's becoming a big problem.
Yes. And the minute I started listening, I was like, I don't want to support this. I want to support the narrators that we love, and not AI. That's taking from their craft and it's taking from their paychecks. And that was really frustrating. I did finish the book, but I won't be doing another one because I don't want to support that. If you do, great. But I have a lot of friends that are artists and they're already having issues with AI. You know what I mean? So I want to do that. Anyhow, So it was a short, weird book. Okay.
All right.
So I'm ready for you to laugh about it now.
Okay.
So it's called Deep Space Tentacled Lover.
I'm controlling myself.
Okay. And it's by Ima Cupcake. There we go. There we go.
Oh,
Okay, so
Jessica,
this
there's
was,
so many flags on this.
this was like a 2.5 read. It had the bones to possibly be a decent book at some point, but no, it was very short. It is about Earth is like getting ready to blow up. Like Earth is about to die. And so our heroine has to get off of Earth, and she's deemed fit to be an incubator for alien babies. And so that is how she gets her ticket off of Earth. And like right after she leaves, it's when Earth blows up. So she becomes a human incubator for a tentacled monster to hold his baby eggs to birth his babies. And like this cycle happens constantly. And she never sees what he looks like because he can like glamour himself. Anyhow, bones were there. But this was weird even for me. So, very short read. I mean, if you're into tentacles, but there's barely, they could call it a tentacled monster, but we never see a tentacle because he glamours himself. So, okay.
Well, I'm going to bring us back to something a little more normal.
Okay, thanks.
My next read is Fireside Love by S.L. Sterling. And this is a shorter book. So this was a 4-star read. I think this could have been a 5-star read if it would have been longer. And yes, I know I just went on this lecture. I'm going to pause my timer for just a second. I know I just went on this lecture about how you have to rate books for what they are, but sometimes an author leaves you like feeling like there's missing pieces. And that's what kind of came here. I felt like this story was missing some of the angst and some of the backstory that could have been stronger if the book would have just been a little bit longer. It wouldn't have to be a ton longer. So this 4-star read, still really enjoyed it, recommend it, reading it, but it just could have been a little bit stronger with a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is about Christy and Austin. Christy is miserable at her job. Her boss is her ex, and he's just not a great guy. Let's just put it that way. So she's pretty miserable. Austin lost his wife in a car accident about 18 months ago, I think it was. And when she dies, he finds out she had been cheating on him. So not only is he dealing with the fact that his wife is dead, it's like, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I was thinking about this, like that would be horrible because you would have like this piece of like, you couldn't get answers. Like, why? What happened? You know, that sort of thing, because she's gone. And just to find out like that really like is sucky. Let's just put it that way. So those are kind of the pieces where I felt like there could have been a little more build to give us a little more of the angst in his backstory, where it's kind of just like this is what happened and we propel the story forward a little bit. So anyways, what was her name? Addie is Austin's sister, and I went over my time. My apologies. And Christy and Addie are best friends. So Addie sends Christy up to a cabin that she has rented that she can't go to for the weekend, and then sends her brother up to the cabin, telling both of them, why don't you take the cabin this weekend and just relax and regroup, knowing that they'll both be there. And so that's how this story goes. So it's a really kind of, there's some deeper issues going on, but yet it's kind of like a little, it's not rom-commy, but it's a little more hallmarky a little bit, but it's good. I enjoyed it. But like I said, it felt like it could have been really good if we would have had a little more backstory on like his, well, let's be honest, his pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, totally understand that. Okay, who's ready for some Ice Planet Barbarians? I was wrapping a lot of Christmas presents this week, and I am not going to apologize for it.
Okay, viewers, if you're ready for Ice Planet Barbarians, give us like an alien emoji or a hand raise emoji. Just curious about how many people watch these videos that get very excited when Jessica is like, I read another alien book.
Well, I mean, I warned you guys. I warned everybody. Christmas time when I'm wrapping presents, I love to listen to Ice Planet Barbarians. So, sorry, but I'm really not.
Because
So,
nothing screams Christmas like blue
ice,
aliens.
ice, and snow. And they're just easy. Because I was listening to a book this week, and I feel like I gave it, and we're going to get to it, but I feel like I gave it lower stars because I was listening to it while I was rapping. And so my mind was on rapping while listening, and I wasn't able to really put forth 100%. And so it probably would have been higher had I like listened to it and read along like I like to do. But that's why I listen to books like this that I love that are easy. They're easy and they're fun. So let's talk about the one that I read.
Most people would listen to Christmas music while they wrap presents.
Why would I do that? I want a book.
I love to listen to Christmas music at Christmas time.
I did listen to my favorite Christmas music. I actually had it on YouTube because they just had a live version pop up, but a live concert of it, and that was great. And then I put my book on. Because my
November
kids complain.
1st, I start Christmas music around here, and nobody loves that more than my husband and my 3 boys.
I can only handle so much Christmas music. I'm sorry. Okay, ready? Ice Planet. Okay. So I read Barbarian's Redemption. I think this is number 12 in the Ice Planet series. I'm pretty sure this is number 12. So this is about Beck and Ellie. So this is how they continue the story on. So we've had our OG girls. They've all got their dudes and they're living their best lives with all their blue dudes. Beck didn't get an original girl. There's no more girls left to resonate unless one of the little ones grows up, and they talk about how weird that is. So, he doesn't want to do that. So he actually talks some people that he meets in the previous book into finding women for the rest of these guys. He doesn't understand what he's doing. He finds some credits and he gives them to these people who have visited the planet before in the book before. And he says, we need X amount of women. Go, can you use this money to go do that? Like, I don't think he doesn't understand what he's asking. And that's how, because they're slaves. These women have been abducted from Earth, and they're being sold as slaves, and he doesn't realize that he's buying slaves. And so that's where we meet Ellie and the other girls, and they're brought to the planet, and they're basically brought to the planet to be freed. Like, they can never go back to Earth. And that's something you have to keep in mind, because there are a lot of people that are harsh on Beck's book because he bought slaves, but he didn't realize what he was doing. He's lived in this society where they don't have that, and he doesn't understand. He thinks he's getting women brought to them so that they can resonate and have this happy life like all of their friends. And that's not what happened. So Ellie was abducted from Earth when she was 12, and she has been in as a pet, and she's been tortured by her owners. And so she keeps herself dirty and stinky and doesn't take a bath, and she doesn't talk to anyone. And so that is who he ends up resonating to. And this is their story. The funny thing is eventually Ellie gets to this point where she trusts only Beck. And, he's the one who she hates in the beginning. So I actually really love this. This is a redemption story for him. And he finally gets his happy, because he's not one of the favorite characters. But yeah.
Okay. All right. My next one I really loved, and I think you're going to want to read it.
Okay.
So, sorry, I got to start my timer. This is called Hating You, Loving You by Crystal Caswell. And this is about Chloe and Dean. So Chloe has had a thing for Dean since high school. And then things don't work out between them, and she kind of ends up hating Dean because of how he treated her. And we fast forward, they're in their, I think she's 23 when the story takes place. And some things have happened to her. And she has decided that she's not going to just sit back and let life happen to her. And she really wants to be an artist, specifically a tattoo artist. So she gets an apprenticeship at Dean's tattoo shop through his brother, who co-own it, but she goes through the brother and gets this apprenticeship. So she still kind of has like these feelings for Dean. So it's kind of like, hate you, love you type thing. So what we end up finding out that has happened to Chloe, and this is the part where I think you would be very interested in this, is we find out that she had breast cancer. And so she has the double mastectomy. And so she has like the fake boobs, and she's very like self-conscious about it because she doesn't feel like it's her. So everything that I read in this book made me be able to think back to conversations you and I have had. So I felt like the representation, based on my not having firsthand knowledge, my knowledge is just through your experience.
Yeah.
I felt like it was done very, very well with like her feelings and her emotions. It's not like a sob story or a pity party through the whole thing, but her actions are based on a lot of this. And she watched her mom die from breast cancer. So her feelings are a lot more raw and that sort of thing. This book is written so well because the two of them banter a lot, and I absolutely love their banter. He has his, what is like, what can we call it on YouTube without like getting flagged?
What do you call it without
His
being like?
eggplant is pierced. Is that
Oh
what we
yeah,
like? I'm not sure we're supposed to say the actual word. I think that flags us. I don't know.
we're just trying to prepare for when we're monetized. We don't want to say anything stupid. So
he is pierced down there. He has a Prince Albert, and he is not afraid to talk about it or show it off. So it's really funny at times, but yet it still carries this kind of serious tone. But they banter back and forth so much that I just loved it. Loved it. But anyways, so it does deal with a heavier topic, but I felt like it was done very, very well.
Okay.
Solid 4-star read.
Okay. It sounds good.
It was.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So now we're going to get to my 5-star read of the week. And I don't think anybody's going to be surprised that this is a BJ Alpha book, but this is the one that I've been waiting to get into.
Well, I am shocked. I didn't think you read anything by her.
I'm just surprised because her writing is just, her writing just gets better and better with each book that we get into. And this book was like, oh my gosh. So last week I read Shaw. And you don't have to read Shaw before you read this one. This one is Veiled in Hate. But it helps you to get, like, we meet Luca, who is our main male character in this one, and you get a taste of how cruel and ruthless Luca is when you meet him in that book. But you don't have to read it. This is a standalone. But this is about Luca and Camille, and they are from rival mafia families. So Luca's sister, his little sister, was murdered a few years prior to this book starting. And when that happened, he started a war between his family and the other mafia family. He's a capo. He's not a Don. He's not in charge, but he's the capo. And so the head of his mafia family and the head of the other mafia family say, we're going to marry you off. You and Camille are getting married. They've never met until the day that they're told they're getting married. But you and Camille are going to get married. And you're gonna end this war. It's gonna end now. We're done. And so that's what happens. Well, here's the deal. So Camille's twin brother is the person who killed Luca's sister. And so Luca goes into this hating her, loathing her, knowing that he's going to have to sleep with her because he has to get an heir. But then he tells her, like, you better be on birth control, because I am not going to mix my blood with yours. He is so cruel to her. And I know, like, you guys are like, why would you want to read that? Guys, oh my gosh, the drama, the angst. It was just, how are we going to make this better? How are we going to fall in love when he's such an a-hole? It was so good. So good. 5 stars. Loved it. So far, it is my favorite BJ Alpha book.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. It brought the angst. Like, it's a forced marriage. Neither one wants to be in it. She's resigned to the fact that she's going to have to marry him. But he's a cruel, mean guy in the first place. And then he hates her.
So have you read everything by BJ Alpha at this point?
I have 3 more books.
How often does she publish?
We have another one coming in January. So for a few months, depending. I mean, she's only been writing since 2020 is when she took that class with T.L. Swan and learned writing stuff, like got into writing and then started publishing either late 2020 or early 2021. I'd have to look or I'd have to ask her. But yeah, every few months we're being teased with a book. So
are you going to finish everything that she's written, or are you like me and have one on the shelf?
Oh no, I'm gonna finish it. She just put out a thing for an ARC team for audio, so some of her books are just starting to come out on audio. So I applied for that. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, I can be a part of the audio ARC team, because the duet that she has, that is her only reverse harem duet, hasn't. I haven't read that one yet, and the audio is coming out early January. I think it's like January 4th. I think.
So my 3 favorite authors, I've read everything that Carrie Ann Cole has written. I have one Karen Crompton book waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and I have three Calla Reed books.
Yeah, something like that. 2 or 3 Calla Reed books. Because you don't ever want to finish. And I have like Grace McGinty. I think I have some of her earlier stuff I haven't read yet. I mean, they're on the list, but I just got approved for the ARC for the Rockstar Romance. So like I do have 1 or 2 back. One on the shelf I haven't read yet.
Whose?
Grace's.
Oh, yay. I know you've been waiting for that.
I saw that last night. So
when does that come to you? Dark.
We had to like get, in order to make sure that we got the ARC, we had to join the Facebook group, and this was like almost midnight last night, and so I need to check after we get done recording like when, because the book comes out on the 28th, so I'm assuming we'll get the ARC here within the next few days.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So,
congratulations.
Why, thank you. But yeah, with BJ Alpha, I have 3 books, and I will, yeah, because she's pretty good about putting books out quite often. It's not like some authors who take longer. So this is what she does. So tell me about your next book.
All right, my next book, I've decided to finish the Pucked series. So I read Pucked Off by Helena Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about Lance, romance, and Poppy. So Lance, okay, so back in a couple of the books, there's this like connection with Lance and their personal trainer person, massage therapist, or whatever she was, Tosh. And I could tell that they were like not going to take the book that way to that relationship. And I'm like, but why? I want that relationship. Like, why are they sending her like away? I think she moves to like California or something. And I'm like, what is going to happen here? Well, as soon as you start this book, you're like, Tasha's a horrible person. I'm so glad that they didn't write this book. It was just funny how quickly I did a 180 on my feelings about that storyline. So I immediately feel for Lance. He's had not the best life, and things have been kind of difficult for him, and he just wants to feel loved. And it really kind of broke my heart for him. He does not like to be touched by women. And he goes to get a massage because he gets into a fight, and he gets sent to get this massage before practice. And Poppy ends up being his massage therapist, and she's like the first person that he's ever like, he's super tense on the table, and she's like, what's going on? Like, I don't know why he's so tense. And like, she tries to get him to breathe through it so she can actually work on him. And he realizes like she's the first person he's ever been able to have touch him that doesn't like freak him out. And so this is kind of like, well, obviously it's their story, but he doesn't really know how to be in a relationship. And there's drama that happens because Tosh does not go away easily. But yet it's not like oh, I think you effed up, so I'm never speaking to you again type stuff. Like that gets old in books where there's like miscommunication and we're just like, nope, done. And it's like, wow. Like, and then if you're going to work it out, like if that's how you respond to problems, why would the other person even want to work it out with you? But anyway, like, so this doesn't happen in here, but there's still this like angst through the story. It was a 5-star read for me. I just really loved it. I felt so much for Lance. And now I have 1 book left to do. There's like a couple little side novellas, but I actually have 1 book left in the series. But I'm really enjoying it again.
Okay, well, then I next went back to Ruby Dixon. I promise it's the only other Ruby Dixon this week. Okay, guys, so just bear with me. But I went back to Ice Planets because again, wrapping Christmas presents.
Okay.
So
I think
are you ready?
You have to be on a 2-month ban of Ruby Dixon now.
I don't think so. That's rude and wrong.
Your
And not
timer has started.
okay. Shush. Okay, so this is Angie's Gladiator. This is the spin-off Ice. This is Ice Home, which is the spin-off. This is number 4 in the Ice Home series. This is about Angie, and when she wakes up, you know, from her little stasis pod on the ice planet because again, she's in the new batch of girls. She's pregnant. She didn't go to bed pregnant. She woke up pregnant. And so she has no clue what she's pregnant with, how she got pregnant. Like, she's got no clue. And then we have Vortis. So he is, notice how he's red here? He's a clone. He's a gladiator clone. He's not a blue barbarian. He's red this time. Thank you, Mandy. And he is what he calls dedicated to Angie. So basically, he's been programmed to make sure that she's taken care of, and he doesn't know why. Like, he was a gladiator, now he's not. And so he's definitely attracted to her, but he's also programmed. Him and his twin brother are programmed that way. And the twin is very competitive with him, and it drives him nuts because he wants Angie. The twin just wants Angie because he wants Angie, and it's a whole thing. So she's very close to giving birth when this starts. So and you don't know what, like, could you imagine though, waking up pregnant, not knowing how you got pregnant, and you're on an alien planet. So what are you giving birth to? Is it going to be human? You know?
These are definitely things I lay awake at night pondering.
I didn't until Ruby came along. So I love this one so much. I love Angie and her whole story. So okay, that's it for Ice Planets this week, people. All right, what's your next book?
Okay, my next book is part of our Convincing My Bestie series. I read Two Wrongs by Kimberly
Carrillo.
Yes. Okay. So this is about Ren and Griffin. And Liam is Ren's husband. Liam is just shady. He's a horrible person. I really had a hard time believing that he was ever decent, but let's pretend he was. So they get married right out of high school. It's been I think 5 years that they've been married.
Yeah.
And she doesn't get along with her father-in-law. Like, he does not care for her at all. Her parents are deceased. So she's kind of like really alone and dependent on Liam for like any sort of family connection and friendship, that sort of thing. Liam's been super distant and he doesn't come home on their anniversary. So she ends up getting hold of Griffin, and they go looking for Liam and find him engaged in extracurricular activities in the back of his car. And she decides enough is enough. She's done with him. But like I said, he's super shady. So he's done things that he shouldn't do that kind of leaves her stuck a little bit. Mm-hmm. And somehow, like, her and Griffin just end up going for it.
And she needs him for support, I think, for a lot of things, right?
Well, she doesn't have anybody, and he feels really bad that his kid is kind of, he was a single dad, so he feels responsible for his kid being such a screw up, but he's also extremely attracted to Rin, which is why he tried to push her away. Yeah. And that's where this story goes. Mm-hmm. So, Two Wrongs.
All right. So we'll see what she gave it in our next Convincing.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the next book that I read it because Megan, who is one of our subscribers on here, it was one of her top reads in November, I believe she said. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go read this. So this is Butcher and Blackbird. I've seen this around. And so this is by Bryn Weaver. So this is she call it a comedy. It is a romantic comedy. It's a Friends to Lovers romantic comedy about two serial killers. So this is but they're killing serial killers themselves. So they're doing good. They're doing good for the world. I mean, they're not hurting innocent people. But this one is about Sloane and Rowan. So he is Irish. Rowan is Irish. He has an Irish accent, which totally did it for me in the audio. And they meet on a job, or they and they decide to they're attracted to each other, especially Rowan. He is really attracted to Sloane, and they decide to meet up and do have a little competition, which becomes an annual competition, and it becomes a thing as they work through, as they get to know each other. I gave this a solid 4 stars. I think this is the one that I listened to that I think, had I not been doing other things, it probably would have been a little bit higher. But it was a solid 4, maybe even a 4.5. I did enjoy it. I know there's a lot of satire in it, then there's a lot of supposedly funny things. I didn't laugh. This is where I called you and said I think I'm broken, because I don't cry and I don't laugh. There are books I laugh in, though, so I know it's just sometimes the humor hits differently for some people than others. So, but there were some, I can see the lighthearted moments in Murder where there were some funny things. I mean, if you read the forward in this book, you know what you're getting into, and it is pretty funny there. So, I mean, it warns you against accidental cannibalism.
All right.
So, yeah, it was good. I mean, it worked. So,
okay.
All right. Next.
My next book was called Get Inked by Helena Hunting. This is a crossover between her Clipped Wings series and her Pucked series. So basically, the guys on the team all want to go get matching tattoos, and then their women decide they want to tag along to this event. And there's a lot of talk about piercings and things like that. I rated it a 3. I liked it, but there really wasn't much to the story. I mean, it's pretty quick. And these, I think her like little novellas that she has are just like fun little treats for like huge fans of the series that just want like a little more glimpse into like their everyday life, where it's not like each book is setting the couple up into like getting into their relationship. So these are more like almost like epilogue-y feel, where it's just like normal events happening in their life. So it wasn't like horrible, but it wasn't super exciting. I don't regret it.
Okay.
But I didn't really get anything out of it either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My next book, though, I regret.
Oh, is this the... Okay.
No. That was the alien one that I was telling you about. This one I just regret. So when I bought it, I thought it was a book I was looking for. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the one I've heard people talk about. And then the duet. So this is a duet. And the name of the duet is the same title as another book that I mistook it for. And so I started getting into it, and I was like, this doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like what I've been told. And then I was stuck with it. And
you've had this happen a couple times where you've bought books and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. You think I'd learn, but nope. Okay. So I thought this was
it an $85 book?
How is that increasing in price? It was $75. And no, this one was
$75.
Not it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't get me in any more trouble. So anyhow, this I thought this. So the title of this, the duet on the picture, was Filthy Rich Vampires, and so I thought this was Filthy Rich Vampires. No, that's just the name of the duet. So the first book, because I didn't even read the second book, was it's called Filthy Rich Vampire Playboys. That is what they left off. And this is by Giselle St. Clair. So this is not the one that I was looking for. Oh my gosh. So this book,
did you already sell the book? Is that why you're not holding it up?
No, I didn't buy it. I bought the audio.
Oh,
and I might not even buy
okay.
I used a credit on the audio. I shouldn't say I bought the audio. I used a credit on the audio, thinking that was what I was looking for. No, it wasn't. So this is about Serena. She's a reporter for a magazine, some glossy magazine. She's going after a story. She hears about these 4 guys in Malibu, which, by the way, they keep referring to it as the Boo. And maybe that's what they do in Malibu. But for the rest of us, that is annoying as hell. It is annoying calling it the Boo every 5 seconds. So anyhow, she hears about these playboys who basically use and abuse women. All their parents are famous. And so they like, there's this one girl that she interviewed, and they'd all slept with her, and then they like abandoned her or whatever. Well, behind the scenes, what we find out is they're all vampires. They were a vampire couple, can typically only have 1 child. They all want to find one woman to be theirs. And so that's what they're doing. They're testing it out, right? So she comes to town. They're all up in her grill immediately. And then they tell her they're a vampire, and she's like, okay. That's not how. No, no. You don't even
You
know
read
vampires
other
exist.
vampire books. Why are you so down on this one?
I think because of the way that she immediately accepted it and didn't even question it. And was just like, okay, so vampires are real. Cool. Oh, you want to turn me?
Do the
Cool.
women in your alien books immediately accept it?
No. Typically, no. Mm-mm. There's a lot of gotta come to terms with what this is. And you've read a couple of my vampire books. They don't just accept things.
Well, I mean, the ones I've read, they've
They
grown
knew.
up in that world.
They knew. Yeah. So she didn't grow up. And I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here going, I'm sorry, but if you're coming from an outside world and you believe that these things don't exist, and then you're told that these 4 guys are vampires and they want you and they want to turn you, aren't you going to be like, huh, that's funny. Tell me another one. You're not going to believe it right away, and you're not going to be okay with it. So this book needed more. And the first part started out pretty good. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. So I didn't read the second book. I gave this one 2.5 stars. Or I shouldn't say I didn't listen to it. It was a duet. Like both of them were in the narration, and I was like, I can't even.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go find the right book now. I know which one it is.
Okay.
Just saying. So that was my last one. So tell me about your last one.
My last one is The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner, which is our readathon group read. So our readathon is going on now through December 29th. The 30th is our live show at 1 o'clock Pacific time on our channel. So make sure to read The Christmas Blanket. It is a fairly short, I mean, this is a small, sized book, and the pages are pretty small. So it's a pretty short, quick read. So make sure to read it and come join us for our live show and for our readathon. So this can count as your holiday read as well. So I'll give you a quick synopsis. I got to get my timer started here. So this is about River and Eliza. Eliza left town. Her and River were married right out of high school. She left town, I think it was about 4 years ago. She's coming back for the first time. Her car gets stuck in blizzard-like conditions, and River shows up to help this person that's stuck at the bottom of his driveway on the road, and neither one of them are very pleased to figure out who it is. So this would also work for your stranded prompt as well. And so this is them. I don't even need my timer because I don't want to give away too much. This is them, I mean, could you imagine? He's her ex-husband. She hasn't seen him in 4 years, and now they're stuck together in this cabin during this blizzard. So it's a second chance romance. So you can, you see where things are going to go. But I really enjoyed this book a lot. I got teary-eyed. I could feel the emotion, and I love that when an author does that for me.
Awesome.
So definitely read it.
Okay. I have to. I will. Because, it's a part of our readathon. So I'm going to.
Good. I think you should enjoy it. It's a good book. Okay.
I'm just saying I'm going to. All right, guys. So that is what we have for you this week.
Okay. Make sure to leave us some comments below. Give us those alien emojis if you're all about the alien books.
Yes.
And make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and then on Wednesdays through the rest of 2023 for Romance School 101. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
And also, we're going to link it below, but don't forget to check out the book journals that we wrote. We designed for you guys as well, because they're going to be listed there too. And we're starting a new year. So you need a new journal for the new year. So this one will be cool. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.